Ándale, ándale.
We getting ready.
Hello, everyone. Can y'all hear me?
Walter West on deck. On deck.
All right. I actually prepared some notes this time because I wanted to make sure I got the verbiage right. What happened during this convention is historical to Texas history. I say that because I have been contacted by a plethora of DC news media outlets. They're actually going to wait until the platform is fully printed, because actually Channel 13 was going to come up here. But what I wanted to do was address what happened with this convention that is much different than the others. And I think it's because of 2020. One, the fact that we did not have an in-person convention. And two, the fact that we saw our government physically take over our liberties. Okay. When Gwen and I sat down, we talked, and we put the committees together, the committee chairs together. We did that based upon what Texas needed. I sat with several other SREC members from across the state, and for those of you who know me, I physically have traveled the whole entire state of Texas. I said 2 years ago, since 2018, I've traveled 11 times. I can't tell you how many times I've traveled it since, because there's some times where it was 2 or 3 hours of sleep here and there, but where I would be in El Paso, or Del Rio, or Dallas, Waxahachie, going up to Borger, Texas. Anybody know where that's at? How about anybody know where Alamo, Texas is? It's way down south. Matter of fact, I was in Alamo, Texas whenever I came back on the SREC back in September at the Lubbock meeting. That was a straight drive with, I think I slept somewhere between on I-10 and outside of Stockdale, or not Stockdale, one of those old towns out there. The Republican Party of Texas has been under fire since, well, for the past 25 years, when we finally became a Republican state. Texas has always been a Democrat state prior to the 90s. And when we became a Republican state, we did not become a full Republican state. We had the Democrat elites walk away from their side because they saw what was coming. And that's who's been our legislators back in the day, our senators, governors, and whatnot. Rick Perry, for instance, he ran a part of Al Gore's campaign in the 80s when he was running for president.
Yep.
Who would have thunk it? So I say that to say this. We had a rock solid team, and there was a lot of personal animosity that happened. I had people that whined about not getting on a committee, and I apologize. Well, I didn't apologize to those people because they decided to attack. And at that point in time, the plan that we had just went internal. But I'll tell you this: Jonathan Houlihan, John Boucher, and Ashley Berg were outstanding.
Amen.
Yes, they were.
I was getting calls from across the state about who these people were and what could be laid onto them. And the reason why they were asking is because people know me, but they didn't know these people. They didn't know that Ashley, while she's a firebrand, loves Texas, loves the legislatures, no matter how much grind she gives them, has helped to pass bills, has worked on campaigns. They didn't know that John Boucher was quick-witted, not just with a sharp tongue, but with a line. He could read the room and know who's coming over to our side and how to hit on just that one individual person. Jonathan Houlihan, they had no clue who he was. But the guy that I literally had a candidate in the CD8 race that said, I'm running for Congress. And he's a very popular individual around here and was going to do it until he heard him speak at a Pachyderm club. And that dude said, you know what? I'm not going to give up my elected position to run against him, thinking that that was the man that was going to take it. We've watched DC come in and pick our candidates and pick the topics that we're supposed to worry about. We've watched Austin do the same. So when they asked about Houlihan, I said that's got to be one of the most brilliant constitutional minds I've seen since Ted Cruz. And for the record, completely for the record, I can't stand Ted Cruz. So here's a little bit about what I prepared. I did get, and I was expecting Brian Chris to be here. I got a text message from him. What's that? I got a text message from him, and I said I would address the text message. As a matter of fact, what I want to do is address that text message first. Because not only, it's not to take a dig at Brian, but he hit me in private, which was very respectable. Because other people went on Facebook and did it. He had the respect to ask me a question, and he called late last night, and the question was, the rumor is that you stacked the appointments to foster the garbage against county chairs. I don't believe in operating on rumor, so I would like to chat with you first. And then, anyway, we threw our stuff in there. Anyway, so and I just told him I'll address that tomorrow. So here I am addressing it. The county chairs, we didn't stack anything against them. The stuff that happened in county chairs is because county chairs in the 2020 election, we had 120 that could not canvass their own elections. That is how bad the TRCCA did with their training. While they threw out names like Steve Munisteri and Carl Rove, the county chairs in the counties where we lost heavy, and mind you, these are smaller counties. So you could almost say it doesn't matter, except for the fact that when you collectively put the 120, 122, 123 in there, of the chairman that I spoke to, they literally could have affected the 2020 elections a lot heavier. And when we canvass, the county chairman canvass these elections, they have to know what they're doing. They can't have a personal stake in it because it's everybody's stake. So for any one person to think this was about them, that's a narcissistic individual. This whole entire convention was about 254 counties, and we do not have a Republican Party in all 254 counties. I personally have helped start 10 over the past 5 years now. 5 years. 10 parties. 10 county parties. This team that we have was about finding the collective voice within the confines of the Sabine River, to the Rio Grande, to the wind farms that pollute the Panhandle, to the ones that pollute along the Gulf Coast. We literally found a collective voice during this convention. This was about giving power back to the people. And when I say that, look at the refugee programs, our state government, our county governments, and what you guys don't realize. We have groups like Catholic Charities. Has everybody heard about them? Mm-hmm. How they're helping with the resettlement program of the immigrants coming across the border? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, they were illegal until the federal government said, here you go. Y'all need to think about that. Programs like the Catholic Charities, we have Republicans that sit on their board. We have high-ranking Republicans that sit on their board. We don't just have to kick the Catholics. The Baptists, they have a group. The Lutherans, they have a group.
Yep.
Everyone's got a group that's a nonprofit. Those nonprofits, they take government grants, i.e. your tax dollars. They represent a church. And then they come in there and they talk about goodwill, about what we're going to do, about immigration, border security. And nobody ever separates immigration from border security. This is the land of opportunity. And when Veronica Escobar goes to El Paso with Kamala Harris, because Veronica's from there, she says El Paso is the new Ellis Island.
Yeah.
We don't see the Democrats in the Southern District doing that, do we? Because for the most part, everyone thinks El Paso is already gone. But we have Irene Armendariz Jackson down there. I've known her for several years, running in Congress. That's where we need to put our focus. Myra Flores used to work on Sandra Whitten's campaign with me. She was our social media director. She just won Congress down in South Texas. We have Monica de la Cruz Hernandez, Congress, that could have won this last time around. She was the one that had the most eligibility to winning on the border. She's going to have a hot race. Well, she's already got a hot race. She had the lowest margin of win for that loss that we had. She was within she was within 1,000 votes of winning that race. And in the RPT did not contest that. They did not help. The NRCC did not help. The RNC did not help. We'll catch it next time. Remember, that was November 2020. When January hit, I think that's when everybody woke up and said, holy crud, this is real. My favorite candidate on the border, Sandra Whitten, we watched her votes back up 20,000. We watched it back up because we followed the elections. We had people in there. We had video evidence. And yet, our Attorney General could do nothing about it. And don't just blame the Attorney General. The governor had the same information. At the time of one of them, Greg Bonham had the same information. Dan Patrick had the same information. The FBI and the Texas Rangers and one of the Secretaries of State had the same information. And I say one because look for your own eyes how many Secretaries of State we've had since 2014. And half of them haven't been confirmed. When we say we have an election problem, which we put as a high priority, folks, we have a Republican problem.
Yeah, we do.
The Republicans in office do not take the grassroots serious until this convention happened. With glee, I took my video through the hall when John Cornyn took stage. As a matter of fact,
that was fun.
I literally need y'all to listen to this thought. I was in the exhibit hall getting ready to get with a crowd of people. We were going to go get up on stage with Dana Myers. And as I'm walking through there, I saw John Cornyn and his wife get up on stage. And at first I thought it was funny. And I said, oh man, I know what's coming. And you know what? The crowd was really, really nice when she was up there. And I thought, God, I hope he gets her off that stage. And he did. And then that's when it clicked, because I saw what everybody was doing. And I was just like, oh man, this is worse than a rock show. Everyone's tripping on acid. They're fixing to go after the stage. And they did. And y'all watched about 8 minutes of booing. And it's all over the place. Every DC outlet that I've ever worked with has contacted me and said, what happened at the convention? And it's funny. And I think people got the point. Because if you notice, Governor Abbott never showed up.
No Governor Abbott.
At least we got somebody who was smart enough to go there. But that drove the point home. The grassroots are tired of getting walked on.
Amen.
Huh?
When we put the grassroots forward, we're the fertilizer for the elephant herd. For some reason, we let the rhinos come in and eat with us. It's time to stop that. More importantly now, starting with Montgomery County.
Woo! Montgomery County! Rhinos!
We as Republicans need to use the GOP data center. We use Karl Rove's lists to compile what is a Republican. We go for the 3s and the 4s. What's a hard R? What we don't do, and this is something that I've learned how to do, we don't go out and talk to people. We stay within our herd, within our group. Hardest thing for me to do over the past 4 years now has been to sit down with Democrats, folks that are questioning what's going on. Why did Donald Trump say that? Why did Donald Trump say this? I switched my TV. I was watching CNN and MSNBC, not to get my news, but to understand what they're being fed. This is where we fail. And we sit there and watch Fox News all day long, and we throw Sean Hannity up on top like he's on a pillar. Until you walk up to him and say, hey, I got a candidate here. And he says, yeah, when y'all reach 500,000, give me a call, we'll put you on TV. If you'll notice, there's certain candidates that never got off Fox Business until they took lead. Then they got on Fox News. And who sits around watching Fox News all day? 3s and 4s, hard R's. We got to talk to the Democrats. Folks, we have an awesome opportunity here in Montgomery County. Guess what just happened to us? The reddest county in the state. We're having a drag queen show right smack in the middle of the Woodlands. Mm-hmm. And you want to know why that is? Because that business didn't feel our red. That business didn't feel our fire. And from what I understand, all the children that were invited now have to be at least 18 and provided an ID. I watched the Woodlands fold in 2019 actually, when we were going to have a group speak there, and the business owner, who happens to be one of our most respected people, said, I can't afford the negative publicity. Didn't want to put himself on it. We went and found a hotel. Rand Henderson said, we'll pull security. And we had a phenomenal meeting of people from across the state and across the nation right here in Montgomery County. They wanted Donald Trump back in office. They worked hard, and it started out with pastors. Pastors that could barely speak English, but it started out with pastors. And those pastors never made it about identity. They never said, oh, look at me, I'm Hispanic, look at me, I'm Latino. They never said that. They said, God bless Texas. God bless Texas because of all of us.
Hey.
I took a group of pastors to the White House. We went to Mike Pence's office, took selfies in his desk, the whole bit. It was a lot of fun.
She is right there.
One of them had to stick with me the whole time. He was awaiting his American citizenship, and he wasn't being sworn in until the next week. That was the coolest thing, walking into the White House, even the West Wing. I'm his sponsor. Why are you sponsoring him? He's an illegal alien. Boy, we laughed. And he literally would tell people, I'm an illegal alien? Just like that. Got to meet the president. Got to meet the vice president. There were some really awesome things that happened there for those guys. What we have in Montgomery County, we have an SD4. What we need to do, we need to make sure we're over in Port Arthur, SD4. We need to make sure that we're helping those churches that put out the government propaganda of welfare. While their kids say, I want to be a millionaire, we need to let them know when we go after a Jacori and Randall to put in, because Joe Desautel's not coming back in, we need to make sure that they know that we're with them. Because they're slowly going red, but redistricting has hurt us a little bit.
Yes, it has.
And Republicans did the redistricting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except I specifically have the recording where Kevin Brady took all the credit for redistricting in Texas. I have that recording. People asked questions, and he said, I have to protect the incumbents. He didn't say which incumbents, and trust me. Areas where we went red, or were headed red, we were teetering, they took them bluer. I was doubtful of Myra Flores because they made her area blue, bluer than it was. She rocked that out with her team. A lot of help from DC there. We could have been walking areas of Texas that DC keeps in turmoil. San Antonio, election fraud is in your face everywhere. You can't even get an affidavit signed or a prosecution. Where the Republican Steve Allison amendment that took a felony voter fraud charge and made it into a misdemeanor. We weakened the penalties. What happened? I'm going to introduce these. She's going to introduce. Just know this. Jonathan Houlihan, John Boucher, Ashley Burke. All references to the state election code have been removed from the state party rules. The legislature can no longer effectuate our rules any longer or pass laws in the dead of night affecting our governance. We can close our primary so Democrats are not voting for Republican moderates. Lawyers representing the parties in the election law issues are no longer tied to the rules placed into our party by the Democrats. Thank you, Jonathan Houlihan. Rachel Hooper. And thank you, Jonathan and John and Ashley, because they called each other. This is what rule we're working on. This is a legislative priority that needs to take place. This is the platform part that goes to it. It was a mixed bunch of signals working across, and these guys were able to navigate that. I got calls from all over the state that this was a rock star team.
Good job.
For those of you that supported them, thank you very much, whether you're SD4, SD7, or what else? 18.
7.
Lois walked up in front of me and she said, oh my goodness, I'm in your county now. I was like, good luck over there. Bottom line is, Montgomery County Tea Party. You guys here, normally a larger crowd than this, you guys did this. Precinct chairs, you guys did this. Steve Toth, you did this. The one thing I love about Steve Toth, as much as I rag on him, I'm telling you right now, he's always having to play the Austin game to get our work done. Now that our work is done, he doesn't have to play the Austin game anymore.
Good job.
He's trying to take my job away.